Hey guys, so today is day 5 of the Pastel Marathon, and today we will be doing the sketches of details in a landscape. I will be posting these different photos that I will be using as reference. Once again, they're all my photos, but you don't have to have your own photos. You can take some photos from Pixabay, for example, or somewhere else. It's best if you do have your own photos, but it's not necessary. So in this exercise, we're going to be doing, I just want to show you ways how you can easily add details to your landscapes. And we will be doing people and dogs and boats and stuff like that. So let's start. I have here my pastels, and I will not be telling you colors. I will be just showing you some principles, basic principles of how to achieve this sketch. Otherwise, it's going to take me a very long time, and I have only an hour, unfortunately, to record the video, and then Ellie comes back from a walk. So let's start. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select my colors for the sky. And once again, I'm going through, we're going to start with the boat. Sorry, I didn't say that. So I'm going to start with selecting the colors for the sky, and I'm going to actually outline slightly, or let's leave it without that outlining. So I'm going to do a small sketch of a boat and how to actually create the reflections in the water. So I'm starting with my darker sky color, adding a cooler, lighter blue. And then at the bottom, I'm going into light blue. Gonna slightly blend it. One beautiful thing, like feature of sketches, is that you don't need to create these perfect blends and create this photorealistic things. It's more free. So here is my sky. Once again, as I said, we need to warm it up at the bottom. I'm adding this light blue. Now we're going to add some warmer color towards the bottom. I'm going to choose something yellowish. Just a bit, and I'm cleaning my hands because otherwise my hands will dirty the yellow color. Just a hint of that yellow here at the bottom. Okay, now we can add the mountains that we see in the back, and I'm going to be using green. That is on the cool side, but this is too bright, I think. Yes, this is far too bright. Okay, so I'm going to be using this green in the back, and I'm going to cool it off with my blues. So dusty greens. I'm going to take bluish gray to kind of cool it off. So this is a bluish gray. I'm creating that appearance of this hill being kind of far back. And here we can add a bit of this lighter blue over the top to push it even further away and just take back the line of the sky. I don't want it to be yellow, my sky, so I'm adding a bit more blue. Okay, so now we have the line of the water, and this kind of cool gray is good, and I'm going to be adding other colors on top of that to lighten it up a bit. So if you've seen the previous video, you know how to add straight lines into your images with masking tape. I showed it there. So I'm gonna add this water here. And I'm gonna blend it, the further away it goes, I'm gonna blend it slightly, as it doesn't have much texture further away from us. It has more texture over here, closer to us. And pay attention that it gets darker. I'm gonna take a darker gray. That it gets darker the further away from us, where the line of the horizon is. And then knocking it back a bit. And using the same blue that I used for the sky. Again, correcting the shape. So creating the water texture. And now what we need is to create, actually, I'm gonna dial down this sky a bit. And I think that I'm even gonna add a bit of, or actually, no, we don't need to add pink to it. So now we need to add the boat. For the boat, we see it as a dark silhouette with light top. So we need pastels that will be darker. So let's see this color, dark blue, could do. So I'm planning where my boat is going to be, being very careful with that shape. So we need to make sure that our silhouette is easily read. So I see that there are dark parts of this boat here. Then I'm gonna take a color shaper because my fingers are far too big for this. Or you can take a paper stump and just blend it out. There we go. Now I'm gonna use another gray for those sails. So we're gonna add first the mast. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to move it. So I'm adding the mast. And I'm making the most accent at the top. And then there is also this part that goes out of the mast. In places where you have lines kind of coming together, it's going to be darker. There's going to be an accent. So, and I'm gonna add some darker areas here on the boat, correcting the shape. Okay. And also here. Now we need something gray. This is kind of a brownish gray. And I'm adding that shadow silhouette on the sail that I see. And also here. And then there's also a shadow silhouette over here. Actually, I don't like this line too much. It's kind of too high up. I'm gonna lower it a bit. There we go. Now I'm gonna take a warmer, kind of grayish brown. And I'm gonna add this side of the sail. And also here we have the same color. There, and now we need something very light. And this is not pure white, it's still grayish. I'm going to add this light area here, add a bit of light into here as I see it on my reference image, and then we have a very definite line here. And what we need now is to create that very light top of our boat, so using the same light color. So it's not white, it has a tone to it. I'm adding the top of the boat, being very careful not to ruin the silhouette. Then I see that there is something darker here going on. And with this darker blue, we can add more like people figures. Just spots. And I'm gonna take a darker pastel because they're kind of slightly backlit also, so we don't see them clearly. I'm gonna create that silhouette, give it more interest. Now with the same blue, I'm going to create the shape of the reflection. So I'm moving in these horizontal kind of movements, and I'm going to slightly pull it down, adding more pastel as I'm working. And with this darker pastel that I used for the people, because the reflection is quite kind of dark also, and the part where the boat touches the water is also kind of dark. I'm creating the reflection and can gently pull it down. Then I see that here there are more kind of prominent marks. You can see clearly the dark. Okay, and now with the light blue, I'm gonna go back in and create the texture of those, of the water, making it seem that it's uneven. Always moving horizontally. And there we go, we have one sketch done. So let's move on to the next one. So we know how to do a boat. So it's very easy. We can also draw that boat that is far, far, far away in the back here that I have in the picture. So just to throw something in, and we can actually draw it slightly cooler. First I'm gonna go in with my cooler gray, to say brown. So adding this boat here. Bottom, pulling it slightly down, and with this light, the same one that we used on these sails here, we can add some light to it. And with a pencil, it's best if you have a sharp pencil though, just gonna add those tiny details just a bit, just to correct the shape. So you can see that we have two boats, one here and one there. One more thing that I wanted to show you is that by adding these tiny details, which I almost forgot, and here I want to slightly correct that shape. I'm gonna sharpen my pencil. And this mast slightly longer, and with these tiny details we can show the actual size of the boat just a bit. I'm not doing all the details, but just a bit of these lines on the sail, darkening up a bit on this side. We lost this line also. There we go. And also here we have some darker corners. These small, tiny details might seem insignificant, but at the same time they give the appearance of a boat. They give more beautiful image. Then just slightly darken up this area where the water meets the land. Okay, so here we can leave this at that, and we can move on to the next image.